Would you look at it? Just look at it.
Oh, would you look at that?
Started raining the minute I sat down to record this. It's almost as if the universe knew. Oh god. Hello everybody. Look at this shirt that I got from Goodwill. It's very... What the fuck is itchy in here? Oh, wow. I still have the fucking thing in it. Maybe I should take that out. There we go. Look, I feel like I don't know what I feel like. I feel like I'm like half lesbian. Well, I am half lesbian. Half of me feels like a lesbian. The other half of me feels like a very cool dad from the 90s grilling some meat in his backyard. Hi, hello, it's Maya. Oh, I kind of scared my cat doing that. Eloine! Girl, I see your ears moving. You best look at me. Eloine! Yeah, you know I'm talking to you. She said, shut the fuck up. Alright, so, hi, hello. Want to get more personal on this channel without talking about depressing things. Well, are horror movies depressing? Do people find them depressing? I don't. Spoiler alert, might be going in and out of focus in this video. I have no idea where the fuck I need to sit to stay in focus. Every time I try focusing myself, I can't. So anyways, we're gonna be talking about horror movies, specifically my favorite horror movies. I was gonna say types of horror movies, but I don't really have like a favorite type. As someone who claims that they love horror movies, I genuinely have not seen a lot. And the majority of ones that I have seen are all from like the early 2000s to like 2011, 2012-ish. And those also tend to be my favorites. I think it's because I grew up in that time. I genuinely started watching horror movies when I was like 4 or 5. A lot of my nostalgia and cherished memories have to do with horror movies based on the early, mid, late 2000s. I could have just said 2000s. Had to make it difficult for myself, didn't I? That being said, I'm on a mission to watch more horror movies. I have seen a fair amount of the classics, and I have seen, like, I guess a fair amount more than the average person would have seen. Before we start, everybody has a different taste in horror movies. Everybody has movies that they hate, movies that they love, movies that they're about, and I 100% will admit I'm a sucker for trash horror movies. I'm a sucker for the really bad mid-2000s horror movies, and I realize that my taste may not be as profound as some other people's. However, I am aware a lot of these movies you may hate, some of these movies you may like. I don't know, but I'm just gonna talk about the ones I like. Alright, alphabetical order. First one, As Above, So Below. I guess some people don't like this. I actually did not watch this movie for the longest time because everybody told me that it was bad, and then I watched it and I was like, are y'all on crack? Because this shit is good. Basically, the premise is there is a female lead and she wants to finish her father's work. These are gonna be really bad descriptions because I haven't seen some of these movies in like a good few months, few years, whatever. I'm going off my horrible memory, so just bear with me. Long story short, girl wants to kind of finish her father's quest to find Nicholas Flamel's stone. Is that literally it, or am I thinking of Harry Potter? Yeah, Nicholas Flamel's Philosopher's Stone. What ends up happening is they go down to the catacombs in Paris, and essentially a lot of fucked up shit happens. They start experiencing, I guess, their own like personalized versions of hell. There's an actual like plot line to it. There's actual thought process behind it. Yeah, it's one of my favorite movies. I make everybody I know watch it if I find out that they haven't seen it. Next up we have The Bay. Now, The Bay is a found footage film. It was made in 2012. This one I also haven't seen in quite a bit. Which one is this one? Is that with the earthquake? No, that's not with the earthquake. That's a piranha. Basically what happens in The Bay is that there's a chemical that's accidentally released into the water that basically makes these mutant isopods, and these isopods like vary in size. Like they can be really small, they can be really big, and they basically start infecting people, and it's basically just a whole lot. Like you really have to watch it and experience it for yourself because I genuinely think it's a good movie. I think it creeped me out the first time I watched it. Every time I've watched it since, it's not really like scary. It's more just kind of like, ew, what the fuck. I have a weird relationship with water. Well, no, I'm not afraid of water. I don't like deep water. So yeah, just anything fucking water related, I'm not with it, bro. Next, we have The Blair Witch Project. Why do people hate this movie? I don't know. This movie is such a pinnacle, I will say, in the found footage genre. Genuinely one of the first of its kind, at least to go mainstream. In case you don't know, Blair Witch, to be honest, I don't even know the fucking plot of it. People go in the woods, get lost, screaming witch. That's all you need to know. Next we have Creep. Creep, it's a horror movie, yes, but it's more of a psychological thriller than anything else. Essentially, this guy puts up a Craigslist ad kind of just asking for his last days to be filmed for his supposed wife and son, I think. Don't quote me on this. Guy comes to film everything, weird shit starts happening. Guy gets really creepy. you gotta watch it. If you haven't seen this movie, go watch it. It is genuinely unnerving. The second one should still be on Netflix too. Next is Excision. Excision isn't entirely horror. It's, I would say, more of a, I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. It's got a very dark underlying theme to it, but it's nothing that's scary. It's just got, you know, a fair amount of blood and slight gore, and it's just very off-putting, I would say. This is about a girl named Pauline who is a teenager who is very strange. She likes medical things, she likes the abnorm, and she has weird psychosexual fantasies slash dreams that she may or may not want to play out. And she has a younger sister who has cystic fibrosis, and that's all I'm gonna say. The ending is kind of fucked, but you will enjoy this movie if you decide to go watch it. Next is a whole franchise, all the Final Destination movies. These are movies that I'm a sucker for. Is the CGI kind of bad? Yes. Do I kind of love that? Yes. The deaths are so overdramatic, over the top, love it, can't get enough of it. If you don't know the plot of Final Destination, it's literally just people having premonitions of their death and then trying to avoid said premonition, and therein creating like a chain of events of basically death trying to claim a life that it needs to claim in order for the world to kind of be in balance. That's a very deep philosophical way of me saying it. Essentially, a lot of blood, a lot of gore, a lot of people dying. Love it. Go watch it. It's amazing. Next is Ginger Snaps, another kind of little franchise thing. Listen, I love Ginger Snaps. It brings me back to like Halloween time in fucking, I don't know, 2007 or 2008 or some shit. It's anytime I think of Ginger Snaps, I'm just like, bitch, yes. Colorful leaves on the ground, spooky things outside. Ginger Snaps is a werewolf film. There aren't very many good werewolf films. I'm not gonna say that this one is particularly good either. Two girls, weirdos, outcasts, kind of goth, kind of into it, kind of horny. One girl gets her period and then gets bitten by a werewolf thing, whatever. Turning into a werewolf, getting very hairy. Second one's also pretty good. Third one's kind of eh. I do like it. Next we have Grave Encounters. Ooh, bitch, Grave Encounters. Second one's eh. First one, hell yeah. Cliche ghost hunting crew, found footage film. They go to an abandoned asylum, try to spend a whole 24 hours there. They lock themselves inside, corridors move, they can't find an exit, the sun doesn't come up, their food goes bad. Everything that can go wrong goes wrong. Really messed up. It freaks me out because the whole idea of the movie, I feel it is what makes it creepy rather than what actually happens in the movie. Because while the movie is in itself pretty, I'll say scary, it's definitely more unnerving to think about putting yourself in that situation and being literally trapped with no concept of time, with no way to escape. I don't like it, but I love the movie. Next is Honeymoon. Honeymoon is about a honeymoon. Guy and a gal just got married. They go off to a cabin in the woods that the wife had grown up in. Not grown up in, but like her family had taken vacations there. And she starts sleepwalking and gets abducted by aliens without her knowing and without him knowing. And it's basically him trying to figure out exactly what's going on with her. This is another movie that's very unnerving and very unsettling. Also uncomfortable if you don't like gross, slimy, bloody things. That's all I'm gonna say. Next is Martyrs. Martyrs is a French film that I love. Oh my god, it's so good. There's a lot of layers to it. There's a lot of stuff going on. Starts out as one thing, ends up something completely different. Even if you're not a fan of foreign movies and having to watch things with subtitles, I mean, I'm fucking deaf, so I have to do that anyways. It doesn't bother me. But even if you're like kind of adverse to it, it's genuinely one of the best horror movies you will ever see. I'm not even gonna talk about what happens in this movie because that would literally spoil everything, so just go watch it. Next we have the Paranormal Activity franchise. Listen, I know, these are so fucking cheesy. However, the way that they went about it, like with the whole Blair Witch thing, where they use actors who are like pretty much unknown and they use their actual names in the film, made it that much more creepy. Wife and husband start filming shit in their new house. Husband finds out that wife has been getting possessed her whole life and just didn't want to tell him. Not possessed, but like haunted by demons. Why you wouldn't tell somebody that? I don't know. And yeah, they basically just capture a bunch of activity, paranormal activity on camera. Next is A Quiet Place. Once again, alien creature things, hunt by sound, gotta be quiet, gotta do a lot of sign language shit, don't throw up any gang signs. And it's basically just about a family trying to survive this. The father's trying to make a hearing aid for the daughter that actually works. The mother is pregnant, genuinely deserves the hype that it got. I feel like it's a concept that hadn't been done before, and the way that it was done was executed very well. So go watch that movie if you haven't. It's on Hulu, I think. Hulu or HBO, I don't remember. Next we have REC, the REC franchise. This is a Spanish film. This is actually the original for the Quarantine movies, in case you didn't know that. Quarantine is obviously the US remake of it. I do actually really love Quarantine too, however, REC is 1,000 times better. And I feel like the concept was a lot more well done in REC than it was in Quarantine. Is basically journalists, people, whatever, go with a fireman crew to basically record a night on the town. And they get a call to go to an apartment complex because this old woman she's just not feeling the greatest. And so they go to the apartment complex and all hell breaks loose. Kind of like a zombie film, kind of hella creepy, kind of love it. Next we got the Saw franchise. Do I really need to explain? Another cult favorite. Every movie ties together one way or another. That's the main thing that kind of like, I think, kept it going and kept it actually like interesting. Even though the concepts were the same, the backstory of everything changed and intertwined, and I think it was a good movie, a good franchise. So if you're into weird deaths and movies that interlock, go watch it. Next we have The Witch. The Witch is a very, I want to say, selective movie. It's based in the 1600s, I believe. Kind of colonial American times. A religious family, black sheep, weird witch rituals, family turning on each other, people dying. I think that the main thing about this film that makes it stand out and brings it all together is how they decided the dialogue and the speech that they would use in the movie. Because I would say, obviously I'm not a fucking history buff, I don't know for sure, but I would say it's very time appropriate. It's an old English style rather than how we speak today, and that I feel like adds another level of unsettling properties to it. And then to finish it off, we have possibly the worst movies on this list, the Wrong Turn franchise. Chef's kiss to the directors, to the whole concept of this. Inbred hillbillies trying to kill you while you are broken down and lost in the woods. What more can you ask for? That's genuinely the plot though. Basically, you go to the woods, inbred hillbillies trying to kill you. It is early 2000s bad slasher porn, and I'm a slut for bad slasher porn. Give it to me raw. I'm gonna stop talking. But yeah, no, Wrong Turn. The first two are like the best. I mean, it's one of those franchises where they should have stopped after like the third one. They should have stopped after the first one. But like, if I'm being generous, they should have stopped after the third one because the fourth and the fifth, not the greatest. But you might enjoy it. Go watch it if you haven't already and tell me how it is. So that was my very long, way too much talking style video of my favorite horror movies. After watching this, you're probably like, I'm not trusting this bitch with her opinion on anything because she does not have good taste at all. Which, you know, you're entitled to that and I probably should agree with you. So that being said, thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys next time. Like, comment your favorite horror movies and then subscribe. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.